Okay, gonna talk about pretty much something that happened to me a few years ago. Basically went out clubbing with one of my best friends and just thought, let's go out, have a good night, like just have some fun. So we were staying at my friend's house. She had a student house in university and she basically gave us the keys and was like, you know, we could stay there because it just makes things so much easier. It means we haven't like to get taxis and all the way back. It's like we still need to get a taxi, but it'd only be like 5 minutes. So we went out, pre-drank, done all the usual stuff. At the time my phone was really playing up. It was really bad. It was like fully charged on 100%, and then it would just suddenly throughout the day for no real apparent reason like go down to maybe 50% just like that. And at the time I was like slightly concerned about it, and I was like, oh, doesn't matter, it'll be fine. So we went out and we were having a good night, and my friend, I'm gonna say for the sake of this video, Mike gave me his phone and his wallet and all at the start of the night because he hates carrying it, and I had my bag on me and he always kind of done that, and it was like, oh well, it's not like we're gonna lose each other. And I was like, yeah, okay, like because we normally stuck together no matter what, but on this night it was super busy and there was people everywhere, and I think I maybe went to the toilets or something and came out and couldn't find him anywhere. So I just thought, okay, maybe he's gone outside for a smoke or something like that, because I walked around the entire club and couldn't find him. Walked outside, convinced that he should be outside again, couldn't see him. And then when I turned to like go back in, there was just a massive queue of people. So I was like, right, there's no way I'm getting back in. So I was really drunk at this point, and I think I could tell because I had partly started to slur. And like, you know that way where you notice that you're doing it. So in my mind I was like, I feel fine, but I could hear myself like slurring my words. I was like, oh god, like I must sound awful. So I basically went, sat down, spoke to two people beside me that had also lost people, and I thought, okay, I'll try and phone him or contact him. So I took my phone out, looked at it, and it was like on 10% and it was dying really badly, and every time I tried to like click it on, it just died on me. Like anytime I tried to, when I thought I was able to like make a phone call, it just died. So I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do, and I opened my bag and then I seen that I had Mike's phone in my bag with his wallets and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even get hold of him. So then, as this was probably very late at night, so this could have been like 2-3 in the morning, and I thought, right, I'll just go back to where we're staying. Surely he would have the sense to go back to like where we're staying. So I walked across the road and looked and seen a car. It was like a row of taxis, and this guy kind of just looked at me and like nodded his head up, and I was like, so I like ran over and I was like, I can't tell you where I'm going, but I can point you in the right direction. And he was like, that's alright, get in. So got in the taxi and we're driving along, and for some reason I think I don't know what we were talking, I can't honestly remember, but because I think it was pretty obvious that I was really drunk. So we're driving along and he made a comment like, I don't know why a girl like you would be single or something. Now at the time I didn't think too much into it. I was like, oh whatever, like just take me home. And I had been in Dublin the week before, so I only had euro in my purse. So I had said to him, can we pull over at an ATM because I've only got like 20 euro in my purse? And he's like, nah, that's fine, I'll take 20 euro. So I was like, right, okay. Now at the time I didn't even think about this, but that was like overcharging me something shocking, because it shouldn't have cost that much. So we pull up at my friend's house and stop. I reach and hand him the money, and then he just like plants a kiss on me, but he like fully sticks his tongue down my throat in the process. So I freeze and I don't kiss him back, I don't do anything. I just kind of sat there, and I was like so drunk, I was like, right, just get out of the taxi, like just play it cool and get out of the taxi. So I got out of the taxi and I walked over to my friend's house, and like the house or the student house was in darkness, and I was like, oh my gosh, like Mike's not here. And he sat there, and then he rolled down his window and he was like, Oh, I really enjoyed that wee kiss. How about you get back in the taxi and we'll go for a wee drive? And I was like, oh, I can't, I need to go find my friends. And he was like, no, just get back in the taxi. And I was like, at this point, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I need to find my friends, like I haven't got any more money. And he's like, it's alright, you don't need any money, just get back in the taxi and we'll go for a wee drive. And at this point I was like, I wasn't gonna get in the taxi, like even though I was like obviously drunk. I like stepped forward and just happened to like look up, and I seen like my friend walking down. They just decided they didn't have any money on them to get a taxi, so they had ended up like just walking back. And I was like, Mike, is that you? And it was like, yeah. And I just stepped back and I was like, that's my friend there. And he just sat there until my friend walked right down, and then we walked up to the door and got in. Like just as we were opening the door, he was like, you alright now, love? And I was like, yeah. And then he drove on, and I just thought to myself, I was like, what would have happened if he kissed me in the taxi and I reacted really badly and was like, what are you doing? Get off me. Would he have just locked the doors and drove on? Or what if I was in such a drunk state that I was like, oh yeah, I'll jump back in your taxi, maybe we can drive around and see if my friends are there. Do you know, like just not thinking about how dangerous that could be. Because then afterwards I was really worried. I was like, what if another girl gets in his taxi? Like I did not lead him on in any way, I didn't say anything. He was the one that mentioned to me about being single and all that sort of stuff, and it was just a weird thing to say, especially knowing how drunk I was, and you could probably see how drunk I was before he picked me up. And I just worried, what if someone gets in his taxi that's in a worse way than I was, and something happens to them? But I couldn't even report it because I was so drunk at the time. And like when I thought back in it, I was like, just the thought of how that story could have ended so differently, because I reckon it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, that's one of my that's one of the scariest kind of things that's happened to me. It didn't maybe seem so scary at the time because I was so drunk and couldn't really comprehend what was happening fully, but yeah, don't go out unless your phone's fully charged, and try not to lose your friend. And if you do, don't just jump into any taxi, because who knows if that was even a proper taxi. I'm sure I wouldn't have just jumped into somebody's car. I'm pretty sure it was a taxi, but I can't really remember. But yeah, that's my story time for today.